And I appreciated Representative Bonner's comments earlier. So, she was speaking on the last bill, that we really need to be doing things that's going to create integrity and security of the vote. And I agree with her 100%. So when we started on this committee, I think this is what we all agreed on, the committee, that elections absolutely have to, three things, that elections absolutely have to be bipartisan, right? They have to be secure, that we all believe that this is a secure election so that we have that confidence to vote. And then the last thing is that we have confidence, and that is allowing us to all feel like we have the vote. So with that being said, Representative Frazier, Alaska, we had the Congresswoman. I was actually going to ask her a question, but she left. So in the Alaskan election, they, as we know, moved to RCV. And I'm just going to quote from a couple of kind of liberal papers. The Hill, November 23rd, Alaska set to announce results from confusing RCV. November 23rd. The election was November 8th. Alaska Beacon, November 30th. Alaska finally certifies final election results, but 3 state house races have more hurdles. November 30th. Again, November 8th was the election. So my question, Representative Frazier, 22 days after the election, if our goals are to be bipartisan, secure, and for the public to have confidence in our elections, when this is the results of Alaska, how can we in Minnesota be supporting ranked choice voting? Representative Frazier, on this task force, can you talk to me about the guarantees that we are going to have election officials, county auditors, and people that are involved with the election process, on this committee, no political people that are being elected in any way. Can you give me some sort of support or let me know exactly what this task force is going to be built up of? Mr. Chair, just in my final comments, we heard that this this organization, or Fair Vote, I'm sorry, that they are very, very well funded. Very well funded. And a lot of their testimonies, anyone can go back and look at them. They're based off of emotion and fear. They also play the emotions of the public, that we don't like negative campaigning, which is, of course, nobody likes the negative campaigning. But I ask people to consider, consider the level of that this organization has been funded. It also was brought up that we don't want to have spoiler candidates. And I would say that ranked choice voting actually, if anything I've ever seen, does bring in spoiler candidates so that they can be funded. Because, earlier, this is really interesting to me, but this committee, we've discussed how we didn't like in a couple of the presidential elections that the president was not voted in by the popular vote, the majority vote. And here we go. Ranked choice voting, you could have 33% of the vote, 40% of the vote, and you could be the winner with 70% of the population not picking you as the first candidate. So ranked choice voting actually does bring in spoiler candidates, something like we've never seen before, ever, in our elections. And I just final comment, but we heard testifiers from Bloomington very, very nicely and adequately telling us of how the voters are against this. And so that's a place that tried this, they're against it. And then I'm just going to finish with someone from St. Paul who also has adopted ranked choice voting. And she said, I'm expressing my disagreement for the creation of ranked choice voting. We have it in St. Paul, and all it does is keep the elected officials who receive the most votes after several disqualifying rounds in office. I have asked, this is from a person, I have asked everyone I know who lives in St. Paul, and not one of them admits to voting for Carter or any of the council members in their district. We do not need ranked choice voting to go statewide. So I would ask, I wore green today because it's St. Patrick's Day. The majority party has not allowed us to have amendments, has not agreed on anything, but something this important that in Minnesota, we have to have bipartisan support for our elections. I wore green today because I thought I am going to have the luck of Irish today, and we're going to get the Democrats to agree with us just once that we are not going to push against the Minnesota people and do something that the Minnesota people do not want.
Okay.